Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. There's some people saying, hey, Bomac, this is the precursor to what's going to happen when Terence Crawford faces Canelo. Bomac can't win against Mexican trainers. Crawford is in trouble. And they say Bomac is going to sound like this.
You one hell of a fighter too, man. I didn't underestimate you. I didn't look you over.
Neither did I. I didn't.
Fighter too, man. I didn't underestimate you. I didn't look you over.
Neither did I. I didn't underestimate you guys at all.
You did a fucking fabulous job. Fighter too, man. I didn't underestimate you. I didn't look you over.
Neither did I. I didn't underestimate you guys at all.
You did a fucking fabulous job.
They say that's what Bomac's going to be saying to Eddie Reynoso and Canelo. Now, let's hold our horses here. I understand Pacheco, but the Mexican Bing Bings, the Compton Bing Bings, the California Bing Bings, the Mexican American Bing Bings on Nelson. But let's not act like Nelson just got totally outclassed in that fight. If you ask me what went wrong, it wasn't that Bomac didn't have the right game plan. Man, there's a lot more that comes into play when you get inside that ring and somebody with the reach advantage, the height advantage, and that affords them the liberty to kind of relax, remain cool, calm, and collective because they know they're at a distance where you really can't reach them unless you take risks, which are things Steve Nelson had to do. And when you start taking those risks, you tend to expose yourself. First 4 rounds, Nelson was on point. Then, you just saw Pacheco just started to time him and touch him up a little bit. But Nelson was still doing work. I got to give Bomac and his team credit because I think if Nelson would have been with anyone else for this training camp, I think he would have got stopped probably in the first 3 rounds. You see this? Let me tell y'all something. Are you guys not realizing that more and more fighters are moving like Lomachenko, like Usyk, like Marjamov? How Power moved when he recently fought Hitchens? Y'all not seeing this? Bomac and his team were able to take a 36 going on 37-year-old Nelson, Army veteran, been shot, right? Who's really on his last leg. They should have really been blown out seeing the fact that he's 36 years old by the 23-year-old Pacheco. They were able to take him and turn him into a Ukrainian. That man was in there, man, fainting. Foot feints, head feints, shoulder feints, arm feints, changing levels, changing directions. And I'm watching that and I'm saying, he's going to get tired. Never got tired. Matter of fact, he had an explosion in that 12th round. And that told me Bomac and his team, they did a great job preparing Nelson for that young bull Pacheco, who had all the advantages in my opinion. And to see Nelson, be able to explode the way he did in the 12th round, that just tells me what Terence Crawford said about Nelson at that post-fight press conference, that Nelson started too late. Yeah, Nelson started too late. He was working, don't get me wrong, but I think he should have had some rounds where he exploded like that, and then maybe took a round off, kind of on cruise control a little bit, and then go back and explode again. I think had he done that for what he did in the 12th round, if he would have done that for maybe 4 out of the 12 rounds, I think that would have given him. I think he would have won that fight because the scorecards were wide as hell, but that fight was closer than that. But no, Pacheco won, no doubt. But to see that he was able to work like that in the 12th, that tells me that he could have probably in the second round went at him like that, maybe in the 4th round, 5th round, then pick it up again the 7th or 8th, and then hit him in the 12th. So that tells me he could have put some more work in. But at the same time, maybe he would have, for the most part, expended all of his energy early in the fight and going to the 12th depleted and deflated, which could have resulted in Pacheco getting a knockout. Now, going forward, Bomac preparing Crawford, his team, right? Because it's not just Bomac. Let me tell y'all something. they're doing something out there in Omaha, Nebraska, because to see Nelson be able to surge towards the end of that fight like that, that just tells me Crawford, who I think is just more athletic, just genetically gifted and definitely more athletic. I just think we're going to see something special when Crawford and Canelo get in the ring. I don't think the fact that Bomac and his team and Crawford was there attached to Bomac for the Nelson against Pacheco fight, the fact they lost, I don't think that's a precursor to what we're going to see with Crawford and Canelo. As far as Crawford losing, I do think it gives us some insight as to what kind of condition Crawford's going to be in, because although Nelson, you hear everybody saying he was quote unquote, this is his last opportunity at the big stage. This isn't Crawford's last opportunity at the big stage, but you better believe he's going to go in there with that same energy and mentality. This is my last opportunity at the big stage, because this is his biggest fight ever. He's fighting Canelo, and Crawford can't afford to surge in the 12th round and lose on a wide lose by such wide margins on the scorecard. He's going to have to come in. He's going to have to fight Canelo, people. I'm telling you, he's going to have to fight him, because what we just saw is exactly what I think could happen to Crawford. Even if he's a bit more active each round, that boxing and moving, that ain't going to work. He's going to have to, like I said, fight Canelo. I don't care. Crawford, to me, out of 8 out of them 12 rounds, he's going to have to fight him. The other ones, maybe he boxes, he kind of gets his win. He's going to have to fight him. He has to fight him. But don't for a second think that Crawford is going to come in there and, half commit on his punches. Nelson was throwing some shots, which was more coochie-coo shots. They weren't hard shots. There was a couple of times I saw him hit Pacheco with some hard shots, but he really poured it on in that 12th round. But other than that, throughout the fight, it was, he would occasionally hit him with something big, because for the most part, he was throwing a lot of punches, but it wasn't really doing much damage. He was just shoe shining, coochie-cooing. Kind of like Conceição versus O'Shaquie Foster. Conceição was coochie-cooing, but Foster was hitting him with clean bing-bings. But Foster got robbed. And in this case here, you saw where the right man won the fight. But with Crawford and Canelo, I just think they're going to have another solid game plan. And I don't think the fact that the Mexican trainers, I just will always defeat a guy like Bomac. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that's the case. But I do think for Terence Crawford and for Bomac, I think they have something special going on up there in Omaha, Nebraska. Because for them to get a guy like Steve Nelson, who has all this baggage, right? And I'm talking about in his personal life, professional life, things he's been through, mentally bogged down with stressors and shit like that. To see they were able to whip this man into championship fighting shape, and for him to go out there against a young bull like Pacheco, who probably is already the big man at 168. He just hasn't gone through and clipped everybody. I think they deserve to be commended. Now, Diego Pacheco, man, he's on to the next. He's the real deal, man. But, you can't blame him for being like Paul Williams. And what I mean is tall and lanky and being able to come out there and, be bigger than his opponents. It's not his fault. He can make the weight. He can do the business, all right? It's not his fault. These guys are like Fundora. It's not his fault this man can get down to 154 pounds. Even Fundora, Cockroach Man, said he can get down to 147. Man standing 6'6", 81-inch reach. So you can't fault these guys for being able to get their weight down for a moment in time to hit the contracted weight and then balloon up whatever they balloon up. All right, that's just boxing, so get over it. But that being said, as far as fans saying Bomac can't win against Mexican trainers, let me tell you something. Nelson can fight, but Nelson ain't Crawford. Okay? And at the same time, I'm going to say this. If Pacheco fought Canelo has experience. I think Pacheco have a good chance in that fight. So Terence Crawford, 76-inch reach, something like that. No, 75, I think. 75-inch reach. He's taller than Canelo. His footwork is on point. He's going to fight. I've never seen Terence Crawford coochie coo anybody. I never seen him come and just shoe shine and coochie coo. He may tap you, boom, counter you, throw a combination, move around the ring. But Crawford's never just touching you to just occupy you mentally. No, even when he's doing that, he hitting you with some shit. I just think, man, for me watching this, I think Canelo and his team should be watching what happened with Nelson and say, Jesus Christ, if they can get that guy locked in mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, Lord have mercy. What are they going to do when it comes to Terence Crawford? That's all I'm saying. So yeah, I think Bomac he and his team, I think they're more than qualified to get Crawford, more than prepared to get in that ring, and they have a great chance on clipping Canelo. Eddie Reynoso is just Eddie Reynoso. There's no one else over there really. I know Canelo's family, they're all boxers, and yeah, I don't think it's just Eddie Reynoso and his pops, the butcher and shit. But I mean, I'll be honest with you, I don't know if Eddie Reynoso gonna, now that we really think about it, Eddie Reynoso was a one-fighter trainer. Simple. He trains Canelo, and that relationship works. But with other fighters, I don't think he's proven yet to be a phenomenal trainer based on being able to develop multiple talents. Robert Garcia is. He's a problem. I don't know if Eddie Reynoso is that much of a problem, but he's good at what he does. But Bomac and his team, they're problems. And if Nelson would have had a little more youthfulness in them legs, which he looked great, but I just think, and a little bit more size. But his head movement, the shit he was doing, I'm telling y'all, for those of you who have boxed or sparred or just tried to hit a heavy bag, y'all know how hard that is to just keep moving for a minute. Even if you're in shape for 4 rounds, nonstop moving up and down, left and right. That's not easy for 3 minutes each round. That is not easy to do. And to see Nelson get in there and do that, man, the whole fight, and get hit with some hard shots and just stand up to it. I mean, they deserve all the respect in the world. But that being said, Pacheco clearly won. But for those of y'all saying this is a precursor to what we're going to see with Crawford and Canelo, because Bomac and his team, they don't have, they're not qualified to go battle the intelligent boxing minds of Mexican trainers. To that I say, in the most respectful way, and you hold your horses and stop taking it to the stupid. Shout out to the veterans all 7 continents. I'm about to go fishing. I'm in the breeze.